In this video, I'll explain how to find the transparent equivalent to a hex color code using the R programming language. So without too much talk, let's dive into the R code. So in this video, I will show you an example, and this example is based on the hex color code that we can define in line 2 of the code. So in this line of code, I'm storing the hex color code that you can see here in the data object myCol. So after running this line of code, you can see at the top right that the data object myCol is appearing at the top right. Now, if we want to find the transparent equivalent of this color, we also need to install and load the scales package, as you can see in lines 4 and 5. I have installed the scales package already, so for that reason I'm just going to load it with line 5 of the code. And after running this line of code, we are able to use the functions of the scale package. In the next line, in line 7 of the code, I'm applying the show_col function to our color object. So if you run this line of code, you can see at the bottom right that the color and the hex color code of our color object is shown at the bottom right. So as you can see, this hex color code corresponds to a blue color. Now, if we want to find the transparent equivalent of this color, then we can apply the adjustcolor function, as you can see in line 9 of the code. And within the adjustcolor function, I'm specifying the color code that I want to use. And I'm also specifying the alpha level of the opacity of the color that I want to return. So if you run line 9 of the code, you can see that a new color object is appearing at the top right, which is called myCol alpha. And we can print this hex color code to the RStudio console by running line 10 of the code. And then you can see at the bottom that the hex color code of the transparent equivalent to our color is shown in the RStudio console. We can also show our original color and the transparent equivalent using the show_col function, as you can see in line 12 of the code. So if you run this line of code, you can see at the bottom right in RStudio that we have shown our original color, and on the right side of the graph we have shown the transparent equivalent of our color. Now in this case we have used an alpha value of 0.2. However, obviously we can also use different alpha values. So if we want to create a grid of color codes that is showing different alpha levels of our original color, we can use the code that you can see in lines 14 to 17 of the code. So in these lines of code, I'm using a for loop to create a vector of hex color codes that are containing the transparent equivalents to our original color. So if you run lines 14 to 17 of the code, a new data object, which is called myCol alpha all, is appearing at the top right of RStudio. And we can print this data object to the RStudio console by running line 19 of the code. So after running this line of code, you can see at the bottom that we have created a vector of hex color codes. And now we can use the show_col function once again, as you can see in line 21 of the code, to draw all of these colors to the bottom right of RStudio. So if you run this line of code, you can see at the bottom right that a new graphic is created. And if we zoom into this graphic, you can see that we have created a new graph which is showing each of the color codes of our transparent equivalents. So in this tutorial, I have explained how to find the transparent equivalent of a hex color code using the R programming language. However, in case you want to learn more on this topic, you could check out my homepage, statisticsglobe.com, because on my homepage I have recently published a tutorial in which I'm explaining the content of this video in some more detail, and I will put a link to this tutorial into the description of the video. Furthermore, if you have liked the video, I would be very happy if you leave me some positive feedback in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notifications in future when I'm releasing new videos to the channel. That's it for this video. Thanks a lot. See you next time.